Over on the Microsoft blog, the Xbox chief Phil Spencer announced that Microsoft will be starting a new diversity and inclusivity initiative to help counter and combat the hate speech, bigotry, and misogyny that exists. I wanted to go over a few points about the blog post and what he said because I do agree with some of the pieces of information that he's given and some of the statements that he's made, but a lot of the statements feel very untrue. They feel like he's just trying to put an emphasis on something that really doesn't exist. So we're just going to jump straight into it. First, gaming is for everyone. No one group owns gaming. Instead, whether you are new to gaming or are a diehard esports fan, you are welcome to play and welcome to all of the fun and skill building that comes with gaming. In this way, when everyone can play, the entire world wins. If you imagine gamers as predominantly men and specifically teen boys, think again. We are a 2.6 billion person strong community of parents playing with our kids, adventurers exploring worlds together, teachers making math wondrous, grandmothers learning about their grandchildren through play, and soldiers connecting with their folks back home. Most gamers today are adults, nearly half are women. So I do think that this specific area isn't all necessarily wrong. I think it's very wholesome, it's very positive, a lot of it is at least, and I do agree with a lot of what he's saying here. But saying that most of the gamers today are adults is true. I mean, I believe it's 28% of gamers are under the age of 18, so he is correct. Most of them are adults, but half are women. That's a little bit of a stretch, but like I said, I do think that most of this is actually positive, but I keep having to kind of ask myself, does he really need to point this out? Does he need to point out that gaming is for everyone? Does he need to point out that, no matter who you are, what walk of life you're in, what age, race, whatever it may be, does he really need to point out that gaming is for everyone? I feel like he's trying to put an emphasis on it as if a majority of the people that play games are saying, oh, gaming isn't for you because you don't fit into this category or that category, and that's just not the truth. There are always negative people in gaming, and there's always people that say, oh, you are X, Y, and Z, and you can't be part of this community or specifically gaming. And that does exist, but that's not the majority of people. That is a very, very small percentage of people that exist. Second, gaming must promote and protect the safety of all. Gaming must be a safe environment. Creating community is shared work, and protecting community is essential work. So we all carry part of the payload of community safety, game industry, and gamers alike. This widespread embrace of gaming and its global communities have turned video games into the world's leading cultural industry, bigger than movies or music. But it also comes a time when digital life includes a growing toxic stew of hate speech, bigotry, and misogyny. I think that saying gaming must be X, Y, or Z is not true. In this case, gaming must promote and protect the safety of all. Gaming is entertainment, and that's kind of where the requirements should end. I do not think that gaming is required to be anything or to provide anything, and in this case, he's referencing safety and a safe environment and an inclusive environment. People that are playing games are adults, and he even said that in the last paragraph. Adults can handle situations that might be more negative and negativity online. This growing stew of hate speech, bigotry, and misogyny that he references as being really blown out of proportion in my mind. Any community, any social setting has negativity in it. But the people that bring hate speech, bigotry, and misogyny to the table are very few and very far between. It doesn't make a large percentage of people in one specific community. And I also want to question, what is hate speech even considered to be? In most cases, people like this, maybe Phil Spencer or specific people that might work for Microsoft, might see hate speech as offensive or inappropriate words. That is usually what hate speech is cracked up to be. It's just offensive words, something that you might find offensive, but when it comes to gaming and how people talk maybe while in a multiplayer game or a multiplayer situation, people say things because they want to act tough. It's a video game. If someone is a 42-0 in a Call of Duty multiplayer match, they're gonna talk smack. That's just how it works. People will feel proud of what they're doing, so if you're going to insult them, they're just going to insult you back, and then sometimes words get said that might be found offensive or inappropriate. That is what the mute and the block buttons are for. If someone is bothering you, you mute them, you block them, and then you do not have to deal with those types of people anymore. He goes on to say, no different from rock and roll, books and TV before them, video games are often dismissed or malaligned as frivolous, fraught with violence, or filled exclusively with hate-mongering. But gaming is uniquely designed for equality. We do not just walk in someone's shoes, we stand on equal footing, regardless of age, education, socioeconomics, race, religion, politics, gender. He goes on and on and on with trying to point out anything that he can. Gaming does not just bring stereotype-defying gamers together, it unites us through our universal language of fun and answers our human need to play. And then he does go on to actually state some research, saying research has shown an effective way to battle polarization and prejudice is through relationships with people outside of our groups, and he references a professor of psychology at UMass Amherst, and they say, as an interactive form of entertainment, gaming environments have the potential to bring people together for collaborations across differences and to build empathy and mutual understandings through play. And I'm very, very glad in this specific part that he is saying this. I'm glad that he's bringing this to notice. It also goes on to say, when people call video games a waste of time, I point them to well-documented health and social benefits of gaming. Beyond pure exhilaration, gaming helps children with autism make new friends, and seniors with Alzheimer's improve their memory. Researchers have found that gaming teaches adults leadership, improves decision-making, and reduces stress and depression, and also teaches kids computational skills and empathy. Gaming is the gateway to the 21st century skills and to STEM science. Just consider teen girls who play video games are 3 times more likely to pursue a STEM degree. Among teenagers who play games online with others daily, 74% have made friends online, and 37% have made more than 5 friends online. And he finishes with, by uniting as an industry, we can thoughtfully and deliberately continue building a safe and inclusive gaming environment for everyone. Microsoft, Team Xbox, and I are personally committed to this, beginning with the following principles and actions. I do think that a lot of what he says here is very true, and I'm glad that he's saying this. A lot of people do not talk about the positivity of gaming, and if you even look at companies like Sony, they always try to say it's negative. It has a negative effect on younger children and how they develop, and that's not true. And he's even referencing here some sort of studies. The problem here is that he's trying to say gaming is good, but he's also filling it with a specific narrative, and that narrative is that inclusivity and diversity is the most important thing to us, when he's just trying to create sales. After reading this, Phil Spencer is blowing all of these problems like hate speech, bigotry, and misogyny out of proportion because they want to look like saviors of the gaming communities and protectors of all of those that need defending in the gaming communities. And they think that if they appear to be protecting minorities, that will equal sales, and that is just not proven. It's definitely okay to tell people to not be a jerk online or even in real life, and harassment online happens just like it happens in the real world, but overreaching policies that could potentially affect the way that people express themselves is definitely not the answer. And if someone is being a jerk online, they're probably going to get blocked by the people that they're bothering anyway. That is why things like mute buttons and ignore buttons and block buttons exist, so that you can ignore those types of people online and never be bothered by them again. That is why we have specific features like that in place, so that if someone is bothered, they can ignore it and move on and be part of that good and healthy community that they want to be part of. And I really think that filtering out certain words and sayings, like what they have been doing, is not a bad thing in every case. I think that in some cases it can be positive depending on what the situation is. But do we really need to go around gloating that they are doing all of this? Do they really need to do that? It should be just inherently expected of these services to do this anyway. Coming out and saying, hey, look what we have done, we've implemented this, and this, is just an attempt at publicity, and it really doesn't equal a genuine want to help the gaming community. But that is all that I have to talk about today, you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and of course, if you did not, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either which way, but also make sure to subscribe if you are not already to the channel. But I hope that you enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys again really soon.